What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Backliners podcast, Aggro and Barracuda as per usual. And this week we are joined by the Soul Laner for your Smite Masters champions, the Styx Ferryman. Baskin, thanks for coming on the show, and congrats on the big dub at Masters.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you, young Woony. It was we talked a good amount about, well, I don't know. Last week we were kind of in a real mood, and also being absolutely besieged by life. And so we didn't get to talk like an absolute ton about the tournament, but a solid amount, which set us up pretty well, I think, for this weekend. I don't think we have to go over a whole lot. But I did have one question about last weekend. But before we get into that, before I forget, I have to tell you about one of our sponsors for today's episode. It's Factor Meals. Now that it's summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for sunny, active days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavor and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track, reaching your goals. You get to choose from over 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options featuring premium ingredients such as broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like our delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, and potato, bacon, and egg breakfast skillets. I thought this last time I read this ad, I could really go for a bacon and cheddar. Like, I'm not an egg guy because I'm stupid. But like bacon and cheddar in general, sign me up. Or like potato, bacon, breakfast skillet, hold the egg because I'm a child. That'd be hitting for me. What am I supposed to do to outplay my taste buds, guys? I want to like eggs. Every time I try them, my tongue goes, I don't like this. How do I outplay that?
Yeah, I think it just changes because most recently, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought I hated pickles. Now I like pickles. I thought I hated mustard. Now I like mustard.
Dude, you cannot be betraying me on mustard.
Bro,
Dude,
I like
mustard
it
is
now.
OP.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's pretty good, dude. I hated it forever, and now it's actually pretty good. And then lastly, sweet tea. I drank sweet tea recently, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Like iced tea?
Yeah.
Like
Definitely
sweet tea, though, right?
Yeah, like the southern, like 40 grams of sugar per like 8 ounces. That sweet tea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the sweetest tea.
Yeah,
Dude,
the sweetest tea.
The sweetest tea. Well, you know, Vera, if you're chugging a bunch of sweet tea, you're throwing off your macros or whatever, you get to add some very convenient and very healthy meals here from Factor. So that way you can get it done. All you got to do is head on over to factormeals.com/backliners50 and use code backliners50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code backliners50 at factormeals.com/backliners50 to get 50% off your first box.
50%, holy.
That's half of it. That's half. Like, you only have to pay for half. That's a great deal. So for last week's Masters, before we talk about, like, I guess the semifinals and finals that happened in the most recent weekend, the week before that, Woony, I wanted to get your thoughts on what you saw. Like, did you expect to play against the Hounds going into if you guys were advancing, or was that kind of like a surprise to you?
It wasn't like that big of a surprise. We weren't really expecting to play against either team just because it's a best of 3, so like anything could happen, and also like new patch and all that stuff. So it's like we weren't really like expecting to play against like either team. Like both the teams are good, right? So it's like, yeah, anything. I feel like anything could happen really in a best of 3 and a new patch. So we were ready for like both teams.
Sure, and talk to me a little bit about your matchup against the Leviathans. In that would be quarterfinals, I guess. We talked a little bit about it last weekend, but not a ton. What do you remember about that set?
I actually don't remember. I remember thinking that set that we had really good drafts, and that's about it. I don't remember too much about it. I think they were relatively close games, but they weren't like super close, but they were relatively close. I think both games went late, if I remember. And I remember thinking both games that we had a really good draft.
I remember
But that's about it.
I think game one, literally nothing happened for like 19 minutes, and you guys just like they grouped up Pyro and Aurora got like
Oh
a 3
yeah.
Ganesh ult, and then you guys just won the game. Like
Yeah,
it just
okay, I actually
spiraled.
remember that. Yeah, we Aurora got like a huge Ganesh ult, and then we rat ulted on top of that, and then like two people instantly died, and then I ulted on Zap and he died, and I think we got fire, and then it was kind of like snowballed from there.
Yeah, we were. I remember us talking last week's episode about how Aurora was kind of going Jeff Inla mode on the Ganesh.
Yep.
Jeff Inla, obviously the best Ganesh alter of all time, right? Up until this tournament, at the very least,
Yeah.
the undisputed
Not some
best.
competition now.
I mean, Aurora was kind of going crazy in this tournament with the Ganesh, and I've been saying Ganesh is OP for so long, and obviously things have changed. You know, the meta's changed, whatever. But he looked really good. Not just Aurora on Ganesh, but I think Ganesh in general looked like one of the better supports in the game. And maybe it's finally time for the elephant to spend time in the sun. Do elephants like that? Probably not, right?
I would assume so. I mean,
Yeah, they're like in Africa, right? So
Yeah, I mean it's
I
hot,
think
but
there's a lot of
go,
sun there.
but they like go in the water and like they do like the.
Oh yeah.
You know, they like
yeah,
give themselves like
true.
showers or whatever. Elephants
Yeah.
have got to be one of the coolest animals. They don't get enough credit, I think. We should give elephants more credit.
Really? How do you want to do
they're
that?
they're all right.
Well, I think that there should be more like elephant stuffed animals. There should be maybe some more like elephant
Like Ganesha themed things.
well, it doesn't have to be Ganesh in particular, but it could be, yeah. I mean, I don't think that anyone would really be opposed to that.
Yeah, I would love it.
The one thing that... Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go down that route. Never mind.
I was really trying to push you down that tangent.
Yeah, no, I could have gone for a long time, but unfortunately for you, my brain went to somewhere that I probably should, like a bit that I probably shouldn't go down, so I realized and hit the brakes, luckily. So
Welcome back.
we take those, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
From my perspective, I thought Ganesh and Terra were like two of the best supports at this tournament. I just thought Terra was really good because you could play kind of less pressure, but still have like buff contest in duo, and then her ult for team fights just seemed absolutely cracked. And then same with Ganesh. Like Ganesh, he doesn't have the best buff secure in duo when you're losing pressure, but his team fight is just so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like one of the most underrated parts of Ganesh, and if you disagree with this in particular, Bear, feel free to say so, but I feel like one of the big differences I see between Ganesh in casuals or, you know, even a lot of ranked games in competitive play is when Ganesh uses his one, Turn of Fate, of course, it gives an insane amount of power, like clear potential, to your hunter. Mm-hmm. And I see hunters use their wave clear and then the Ganesh ones, and it like makes me want to claw my eyes out every time, which is like not, you know, it's not that bad. It's not Athena's insisting on dropping their 3 before they taunt.
I hate that,
which should be a crime, by the way.
Punishable by death.
Well, yeah, you know what? I'll double down on that. Sure, why not?
it's usually you
just
dying.
Yeah, it's me, exactly. It's me. Them. Athena taunt doesn't work late game. Like, anyway. But I think that, like, that's an underrated part of what Ganesh brings, is I feel like he really boosts the hunter wave clear in the early game.
Yeah, for me, it's nice if it lines up like that, but a lot of Ganesh's will just, like, throw their one
whip it.
poke.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm like, how am I supposed to follow up off of that?
140 damage on their head, by the way.
Yeah, it's nice if you have like a Rama lane or like an Izzy lane, you're just wanting the wave and you're both like playing completely for clear. But a lot of times it doesn't completely line up. But if it does, obviously it feels nice, but it's not something you're like always playing for.
Yeah, I think it's OP.
I do think, to your point, I do think people and professional players in general should play for that more. But I don't think many support players really play Ganesh right now.
Well, then they're not winning as many games as they could. I'm a Ganesh warrior. I've been a Ganesh player, but that's just because, you know, we're all Jeff Inla fanboys around here, of course. Okay, before we talk about your matchup against the Hounds, Wooney, let's talk about the set that happened right before that. It was the Oni Warriors up against the Jade Dragons. Dragons won game 1 of this set, and I was like, whoa, is it happening? Like, are they popping off? Because I thought the Dragons looked so good up against the Kings, and it was games being driven through Mike and through Lasbro, which we have not seen like at all the rest of this year. And they drove that set through Mike and Lasbra. Game 1 of this set, they drive it through Mike and Lasbra, and I'm like, oh my god, they've done it. They've clicked. It's here. And then they don't do that successfully the entire rest of the set and just get absolutely crushed. I feel like none of these other games were even close. Maybe this game 4 is closer than my memory is telling me, but from what I can remember, I was like, wow, they just got absolutely annihilated in the next 3. Barra, what did you think about this set?
Kind of just whoever picked more pressure won. I think that was the story in the first 2 games. Game 1.
Yep.
I think Warriors, just after game 1, they were like, okay, we actually need to pick gods with pressure. And then after that, they hard stomped game 2, and then game 3 and 4 were, I think, relatively slower, but still both teams just jamming pressure. Which I think, I know Mike was talking about getting away from pressure or whatever, but I really just think that's his best play style by far. So I'm happy to see him, along with his teammates, drafting for full pressure and playing that way on the map. Because also, Laz can play late game stuff and hyper carry as well, but I think when he's able to facilitate plays on the map for the first 10 to 15 minutes, I think his game, and I think his teammates' games genuinely go a lot better.
Yes.
He's just able to control instead of just kind of slowing down the pace and just being like, okay, I'm coming over here to protect a buff versus okay, I'm going here to invade a buff. And I think that just helps out Laz a lot when he's playing that way. Same with Mike.
Yeah, I completely agree. As I've said a lot on this podcast, I'm a Lasbra believer. I think that guy is really, really good at the game. I think that he has at times looked like one of the best junglers in the world. Not this year, but last year in particular. With all of that said, if I never see Lasbra Nemesis ever again, I'm cool with that. Those are the types of picks that I hate seeing Lasbra on personally, because I just want him on Pele, Erlong, Rat. Let that dude get his hands dirty early, and let him be able to dictate who fights him and when. Gods can just choose to not fight Nemesis. They cannot choose to not fight Rat or Serket or Erlong. Those are the types of picks that I think he has always looked the best on. And he played mostly those gods for what it's worth in this set. He did have one Nemesis game, and then it was game 1 it was Rat, game 2 Nem, game 3 Pele, game 4 Erlong. So 3 out of those 4 picks I really like for him. But just in general, I think that it is not a coincidence that this team looked the best when Mike and Lass just were unleashed and could just do what they wanted on the map because of their picks.
Yeah, I think their game 2 draft was a little funky for me too. It was Nim, Eset, mid jungle, and I feel like if you're going, I didn't see the draft order. I feel like if you're going Eset, you probably want something to combo with it in the mid 2v2.
Yeah, they last picked the Eset because because Pagon picked set mid, and I actually love the Eset mid into set mid. I think it's really smart. I think it just completely neutralizes what set wants to do in that lane. But I agree that it doesn't have the best synergy with Nem in particular. And sometimes that can happen where you get to 10th pick in a draft and you've got this really good counter matchup potential, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of your draft, but boy is it good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not a selfish call from Dardez or the team to give Dardez the better matchup rather than the better fit for the team comp. But sometimes you just get yourself in that situation and it gets a little awkward.
Yeah, I think also that game, to be fair, I think their dueling just was way more pressure. I think Jake was Horus War Flag or something. I think they just got objective after objective after objective. So, and Eset from behind can't really do too much, unfortunately.
No, which is funny because she's been a really good support, which makes you think that she should be good from behind, but For some reason, it doesn't feel that way when you're playing mid. That's for sure. Booney, what did you think about this Warriors Dragon set?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything Bear said. The pressure was a big deal.
Okay, but what about what I said, Booney?
I don't agree with anything you said.
Okay.
Well, for game one, I remember seeing the Warriors draft and thinking like they literally had no. I think they had like Achilles solo. I don't remember all their draft.
It was
Achilles.
It was Baba mid, Achilles solo, Dodgy jungle, Marty ADC, and here's the spice, the Sobek 408.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
the Croc 08 here.
Yeah, that's like no. And they were also playing into. He was playing Jorm solo, right? Nika.
Yep.
And he was Rat jungle, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So it's like just in that solo jungle, like Achilles Dodgy versus Rat Jorm, like that is like the most like lopsided
Unplayable.
pressure you could ever get. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, game one wasn't that close, right? If I remember
Nope.
correctly.
No.
Yeah.
Jade stomped.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Oni Warriors just got back to what they do best, like just picking pressure and running it down. And I feel like I think outside of game 4, which was kind of competitive, game 2 and 3 were pretty one-sided, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Yep.
And yeah, to me, it was just all about drafts. It was just all about pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they also let Dragons have Jorm in game 1, which is like the most broken character in the game right now. I feel like that character is so OP.
Isn't it crazy how
Yeah, it's
Basket was at my house like a couple weeks ago, and I remember us talking and I was saying, I'm pretty sure Yorm is really good right now. Like, shouldn't he be really good with like the way the meta's playing out? And you were like, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll see. And then it just turns out, and this is, by the way, this is the complete shotgun method for me. If I just say everything's OP, eventually I'm right. You know what I mean? So don't give me too much credit here, but it is like, there were lots of solo laners that I talked to that said the exact same thing, where it's like, yeah, Yorm, like, might be kind of good, but like, I don't know. There are like some things that need to be figured out, and people just kind of figured out the right build path for him and how to draft around him, and he's looked insane.
Yep. Yeah. I don't remember that conversation exactly, but I feel like I probably said something more like, yeah, Jorm is just terrible and he can't be played or something. Because in my mind, like, Jorm has always been like, well, he was good in like season 6 or something, but ever since then, he's been in like the Arachne tier, or like, like there's a couple other characters that will like that really can't be played in SPL, but just everything lined up. Like the stat switch was good for him. His build path is really good right now with E-Staff and like Tainted and stuff. And also he's OP at beacon fights. He's so good at beacon fights.
Mhm.
Like you can't lose a beacon fight with him because he just puts his like pools in the thing. You can't like stand on them. Yeah, so he's randomly ended up being OP, I guess.
That's crazy because I didn't see a single Yorm. Like,
yeah. People started playing.
I didn't see a Yorm anywhere, like scrims or ranked or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither until it was after the second week that because like we got like 2 weeks of scrim, so like people were still testing stuff after like the first round of games or whatever. And I think Ducky played against me, and then everyone just started picking it. I don't know, like every team we scrimmed, like they just only picked it like once, and I thought like I was like, are these guys trolling? And then I played it, and then it ended up being good. I remember saying to Reels like, yeah, like literally like it was like the day after like our Levi set or something, and we were scrimming, or maybe it was 2 days after, and someone picked against me for like one of the first times, and I was like, yeah, I'm never playing that character in 100 million years or something like that. And then I like picked it 2 games later, and Reel's like, it's been 100 million years already or something like that. I forgot what he said.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just funny how every Smite player has the same brain.
Yep.
Like,
Oh.
everyone talks about picks the same way. It's like, oh, that pick has to be terrible. Like,
Yeah.
that guy is so stupid. Especially
Someone playing-
solo laners.
Oh, yeah.
Especially solo laners.
Yes, of course. Solo laners are
Like,
definitely
you can't give
bad about that.
anyone respect for, like, picking a pick. You're like, that is terrible.
I mean, it's gotta be my pick. That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only
That's
that's
what
the
you're
only
right,
way it
dude.
can work. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. The reason that I thought, wait, I think this god might be really OP is because she's gonna be pissed that I'm telling the story, but I'm doing it anyways. Lurmy absolutely rolls me in every playtest, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I just get farmed, okay? We soloed against one another a couple weeks ago, and I played Yorm, and I soloed her twice. The amount of time, here are the amount of solo kills I have on Lurmy this year. Those 2 on Yorm. The end is basically it. And I was like, this has to be broken because I didn't even feel like I was doing anything well. I was just doing so much damage that I was like, this has got to be actually really good. And that's how I came to my conclusion was the Lermy litmus test, if you will. Okay, before we go on to talk about the other semifinal, got one more sponsor to tell you about. It's Oakley's. I saw in chat. Let me scroll up. Kithara said that they're walking home, but just here to report that they bought new Oakleys. Well, Kithara, I'm sure that you are looking so good on your walk home in those Oakleys because they let you express your style and build a look that's made just for you. They're changing the game, and it's time to discover a whole new world of possibilities. Whether you run, golf, train, if you just want to look like your favorite athlete like Lamar Jackson, Deebo Samuel, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Mbappe, or John Barracuda Salter,
That's me.
then you need to get yourself a pair of Oakleys today. Yeah, you're not wearing them walking home because it's 8:30. That's fair. That's on me. It's still kind of light out here in Georgia, but not light enough that I would want sunglasses. So that's on me. They're suited for everyday eyewear with frames and lenses allowing for an extension of self, an expression of your personality. There is much more than meets the eye. Here on this show, we're all about look good, play good, and that's why Oakley is the perfect partner for us. And listen up, because it's officially almost summer, which means you need to upgrade your sunglass game now. Check out Oakley.com to get yourself a pair of Oakleys today. Barry, mine did legitimately get hosed in the mail, is what I've been informed of, and I actually it was a mailing problem, so I'm very sad that I haven't gotten one.
They stole your Oakleys?
They on God did. I'm not kidding. They said it said delivered on Tuesday. I verified the address. There was a proof of delivery link. I clicked it. Nothing. It just says by the front door. What is that?
Doorbell cam?
No. Well, we do, but I haven't set it up. Don't rob me. We tried to put it in, and it was like there was like a something about the way our door frame is made it not the easiest thing in the world, so we instantly gave up. You
gave up, yep.
18 months ago, maybe. Oakley's even offers prism lens technology. What the hell is that, you ask? It's a proprietary technology to Oakley and available for everyday settings as well. If you want to know more, and I know you do, head on over to Oakley.com and do your own research on that. And while you're there, get yourself a pair of everyday glasses that'll be sure to change your look for the better. When you wear Oakley, there really is more than meets the eye. Don't trust me. Try it for yourself. I've worn a lot of sunglass brands in my life, and I can assure you Oakley is not only the best looking, but the best quality out there. So head on over to Oakley.com for more information today. Barrett, did you get yours? You said you did, right?
I got them.
It's your first fancy pair of sunglasses. You were saying when we first got Oakley as a sponsor. How is it?
Wonderful. I don't feel like I'm cool enough to be wearing them.
That's imposter syndrome talking. You are.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they fit really nice because I have a large nose and it's very soft around my nose. And I will be cutting the grass in them tomorrow for a true test.
Oh, so that is gonna be such a look, and I'm gonna request that Destiny takes a picture and send it to me if she can. That's gonna be.
She will be working.
Unlucky, dude. It's gonna be so hot this weekend. I need to mow. I mowed the front lawn, and I really need to mow the backyard. But it's gonna be like 96 or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to cut it tomorrow morning. We're such dads right now.
I know.
Holy, scheduling our lawn cutting. Okay, also, real quick.
Yeah.
Neon Curve just lied to me in chat. He said Ravens banned Yorm against Hounds. I went and checked. We did not ban Yorm. I literally did not see Yorm at all.
Unbelievable.
Neon, stop lying.
That's incredible. We'll be addressing this in the post pod hangout.
I'll be yelling at him
for sure. Okay. Hounds versus Styx Ferryman in the semi-finals. This set was kind of a banger here, Wooney. Game one, Oath kind of went a little quasi on the Raven, who turns out is pretty good.
Yep.
That is weird.
Yeah, he's pretty good, I would say. Yeah, I guess. I don't need to go through every single game right away. Just instead can ask you, Wooney, what you remember about playing through this set.
I remember like all the games were so long. It was like the longest I've ever played, I think.
Yeah.
Like every game, I'm pretty sure went past 40 minutes, and it was went to 5 as well. So I just remember like it was just we were there forever. But game one, I remember they had Jorm, and Oath played really well on the Robin, which did well until our set mid pick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we lost that game. And then game two, I remember we had Jorm, and then we also had a good draft.
Yeah,
So
this
we
was the
won
fast.
that game.
This one was the only one under 40 minutes. This one was 34, or nearly 35.
That was the fastest one.
Yeah, 35 minutes was the fastest one. The other ones are all
Jeez.
over 40, I believe. Game 5 not showing up on the website, unfortunately, but
Mhm.
game 1, 46. Game 3, 49, 50. So 50 minutes. And then game
Mhm.
4, 46. So
Okay.
some lengthy ones.
Yeah. And then after game two, like game three, four, and five, I feel like kind of had similar like early games. Like like game three, four, and five, we were getting ahead like early. Oh wait, no, game three and four, we were getting ahead early. I felt like game three, we had like Fire Giant, and I think we got two Phoenixes or something like that, and it was like pretty in our favor, like the kill count and all that. We were in control of the game, and then they dragged it out to like 40 plus minutes, and then I think we either got picked or we lost a Fire Giant fight or something happened. And then I remember like they ended, and that was like one of the only fights that they won. But they did like a really good job of like just like stalling out the game like forever, and then just like I forget if they decided us or not. I really can't remember, but yeah. And then game four I think was pretty clean from us. I think that was like um wasn't like a shutout, but I think we had like a really like a high like kill difference.
Yeah, 21 to
Like
3.
18 to 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just snowballed that game. And then game five, they actually got really far ahead of us. I think that's like the biggest early game lead they got on us.
Mm-hmm.
But we did a good job of just like mitigating it. And then Aurora made like a really sick call where I think we got a pick on someone. And then he called for us to do Fire Giant. We were still pretty behind. And Isis ulted and then Horus ult out. And that kind of saved the game for us. And we like barely got out and like we barely got Fire Giant. It was like a really like close play, but it was actually like an insane call that like saved the game for us. And then and then there was like a couple more team fights that went pretty even, and then the last team fight we killed 3 people, and then we were gonna end. And I remember thinking while we are ending that we were actually gonna lose because Benny got a 3-man disco strife like at the very end,
Yeah.
and 2 people died instantly. And then Paul was in the air behind me on Marty. He was ulting the Titan, but I couldn't see how low he was. And I wasn't doing any damage to the Titan because I was I think I was sore, but I was like full tank. So I thought we were gonna lose like for sure. I was like once I saw I think it was like Sino and Cyclone that died maybe or Cyclone and Aurora. Once I saw them die, I was like okay, we actually lost the game. But we ended like it was really close, but I don't think it was like super like Paul. I think if I died, Paul would have ended the game. But yeah,
Yeah,
a
it
really
was
close set.
really close at the end,
Mhm.
man. I mean, somehow, man, Disco just always seems to find those in like key moments.
Yeah. It's hard to like, because people go like full CDR in their build, and it's hard to like constantly look out for it.
Mhm.
And I feel like if she gets even like a 2-man taunt into a one, it's like it pretty much swings a fight like instantly.
Yep.
It's like such a crazy ability.
Yeah, Strife is definitely one of the best mage abilities that isn't an ultimate in the game, in my opinion. Just so it's so fast, it's so easy to hit. It's got such good range, and yeah, like you said, if you can just hit 2 people, a lot of times it just insta wins you the fight. And Benny nearly saved it there at the very end. Barra, what were your thoughts on the set?
I missed most of the set because I was watching it today and Lynn came over, and I'm kind of glad I missed most of the set because just seeing how long the games were,
They were long
I
ones.
really would have enjoyed watching 5 hours of the set. So yeah, Baskin covered it perfectly, I think.
Great. Yeah. No, I mean, I did get to watch a good amount of this set. I felt like excuse me, a lot of the time this Hounds team I feel like is so different than so many SCC teams that get promoted. In that they typically those teams I think struggle the longer the game goes, and are typically better at muddier, faster paced, uglier games. Because a lot of times these teams are comprised of players who don't have a ton of competitive experience, but are usually very good mechanically, which is how they're kind of breaking into the scene. And so if they can just turn it into a shooting range, they end up winning a lot of the time. And this Hounds team is really different in that they can snowball games. Like, they're certainly capable of it. They aren't an old school, like, I don't know, like the Trixtank Dignitas teams where I think that they maybe won 2 early games all year, and their early game just didn't matter because they were good at stalling it out and then winning late.
What about the Meerkat Mask?
Yeah, Armada's a great
Armada.
example. Yeah, you want to talk about dragging them down into the mud. There is no team ever muddier than that Armada squad. It does not get any grosser than Erlong, Double Chalice, and Mid.
But it worked. So
One of the greatest sets of all time, undeniably.
Yep.
Life-changing for many of us. But this Hounds team is like so good at not stalling games in like a... I don't know, they just really farm well, and they split the map well, and they don't beat themselves, which is also kind of unusual for a team that's just getting into the SPL at this stage of the season. This team does not beat themselves basically ever in game. You could argue that maybe some of their drafts, but that happens to every team. So I don't know. I was just really, really impressed with this Hounds team. And I would not have called them legitimate Worlds contenders coming in to this tournament. And I would call them that now. I think that they are certainly a team that you are going to have to, that is not going to just lose at Worlds. Like, you will have to beat them. And that's really, I've said it before on the podcast, trying to compete for a championship in traditional sports or in esports is very binary, in my opinion. It is either you are capable of putting together a weekend where you win, or you are not. And I would have said the Hounds have not shown me that they can yet. I feel pretty strongly that they have shown me that they can, and that's all, and that's like good enough. So really, really, this was a really great event by the Hounds.
Yeah, I think for me, for Hounds, BennyQ especially seems like the most improved. Like, Oath doesn't really seem like that question mark jungler anymore, which was the biggest thing before. Especially tournament time, I think he played better. Like, when we played against Hounds, Oath just like hard camped me game 1 as a Izanami, and when you're doing that against an Izanami, you literally can't play the game.
Yep.
Like, and they just did a really good job training the map. And then BennyQ as well, I think he is just playing out of his mind lately. So yeah, I just think they're kind of mid trio as well. Quig especially is. Everyone's just playing really well. I think Ducky kind of had like an old like Demi style, but I think he's playing like win lanes now instead of just like forfeiting. Which kind of gives them win cons on both sides with Coast as well, because Coast is like probably the most aggressive ADC. Like, Coast will just play like that ranked ADC that just wants to solo you and just like get the clip, but he plays it like well. So yeah, they have win cons across the board in my opinion.
Yeah. One thing I want to say about that team is, like, even though they're like the rookie team, they're pretty much like as experienced as you could get from like a rookie team.
Yeah.
Because like I played against them in SEC for like the longest time, and I'm pretty sure all of them have been around like competing like SEC, SOC, whatever it was back then, like since like probably like season 2 or 3 at least, right? Like that whole roster, like yeah, they're and that goes to what you're saying about like how they don't play at like a traditional SEC team where they don't really go for kills like that, right? It's like more like structured, like more experience. And I think it's just because like they've put in so much time in the SEC, like ever since early seasons, pretty much.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that like Barrett said, I think Benny, and I would say Ducky as well. Those two have really stepped up their games from when they were last in the SPL. Or previously in the SPL, I guess is a better way to put it. yeah, those two look like completely different players.
Yeah, I agree.
In a good way. So excited to see what the Hounds are going to do the rest of the year for sure. That brings us to Sunday. Hounds 2-0 Jade. Don't have anything else to say about that set because didn't really register for me there a whole lot. Instead, it's the Oni Warriors and the Styx Ferrymen in the finals. What were you, Woony, going into the set? I mean, everyone knows that you go in expecting to win. But did you go in expecting to not even drop a game to a team that hasn't lost a set all year?
No, I definitely thought it was going to be way closer.
Yeah,
But
I think
yes,
everyone
yes, I
had
thought
to,
we were gonna
right?
win. Yeah, yeah. I
What?
mean, the games were close to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna like at least lose one game, but yeah.
Yeah, so game one, I think we can go this one game by game a little bit more. Game one, you guys win in roughly 42 minutes.
Short one.
Yeah, for sure. You guys really prioritized set for Paul, which I found a pretty interesting. Just because if you would have said coming into this tournament, it's a tank oriented meta. Like tanks are the strongest thing to be doing. That would not make me think, oh, set is what I want to be playing. Like set is not a god that gets really, really good against tanks the vast majority of the time. He's usually a better squishy killer. But it also does make sense that if he's not taking as much damage, he does well over prolonged fights against characters that don't just CC him to death. I think it definitely makes sense. And Paul's obviously a very good set player, but I would not have expected there to be so much set priority for Paul in this tournament, but it seemed like one of your highest value picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was our highest value mid pick. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean, I think with the stat squish, I think mage items got hit a lot harder than the physical items.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, for me personally, when people played like ADC's mid or like any physicals mid, it didn't feel that different from like I definitely was tankier, but I felt like when people played like mages, there was like until they got like 4 items, like maybe Soul Reaver plus Obsidian Shard online, they weren't really doing that much damage. So Set's just like a character that he tried and was popping off like literally every scrim. Like some of the scrims he had on Set were actually crazy, and then Pagon also plays it, so I guess that made our value a little bit higher. But I mean, our value was just high because he's definitely the best set in the world, and then it was just going off every game. So we're like, okay, that character's OP.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty much
mean,
it.
you're not hearing me argue against giving Paul set like
Yeah.
ever. Pretty much, that dude is a beast.
Hmm.
So yeah, you guys went set Marty Erlong top 3, and then Tara Robin bottom 2. I remember watching these picks and bans, and I couldn't believe that you guys got Robin 10th overall with how he looked during the tournament. It was Hades and Athena bans in the second phase for the Oni Warriors. They also had the option to pick it for Panatom Jungle, where he took Serket instead. Were you surprised to get Robin there?
No, I actually wasn't because I didn't pick it that whole tournament. Even when I had like multiple chances to pick it versus the Hounds, I picked Tyr over it, I think. Gonna be honest, I didn't. I thought Robin was good, but I thought like Tyr, Jorm, Thor, I thought they were all better. Even Song Kong, I thought was a better pick. Yeah, like we scrimmed Oni Warriors the whole week, 5 days leading up to that weekend, and I think maybe there's like a couple Robin picks in this whole lane, maybe like 1 or 2, but yeah, I don't think I played it the whole week. So yeah, I wasn't really surprised that they didn't ban it because I didn't play it versus 7 scrims and I didn't play it versus any of the other teams that we played in the tournament. So
That's fair. That's interesting that you guys scrimmed the Warriors the whole lead up to that tournament, because I would say that you two were the clear favorite. No, maybe not clear favorites in your semifinal up against the Hounds, but Warriors certainly clear favorites in that first set. I feel like that isn't super typical to scrim one team on the lead up where it's pretty likely that you end up playing them in that tournament.
It was the week before these games, so it was us, J Dragons, Warriors, and
Hounds.
Hounds left. Yeah, so they could either scrim us or Hounds, and I think they were double blocking. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, they scrimmed us every day. Yeah. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, it was either us or Hounds. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think they scrimmed us both. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this game, pretty slow pace. Jake on the Afro. Was this the game where you guys chased him under the tier 2? It is, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
I missed my Robin 3 and he lived.
that was a
And I
little,
think Sino
little
died.
troll. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
didn't. 206
Yeah,
for you. Like,
I'm
no
out of
big
there.
deal. That was such a troll chase, and I could just hear, like, I feel like I could hear you in the comms being like, unlucky. Like, I don't know, like, you just, at some point you got to know it's bad. Like, when you're passing speed buff, like, it's kind of like when you're in the car and you're like not really paying attention, you look around, you're like, wait, when did I get here? Like, I didn't mean to go here, I missed my turn. Like, you realize you miss your turn around the speed buff, but at that point you're already there. Like, you gotta try.
I mean, we went on them at mid camps, and then I blacked out, and then we were under T2 somehow. So I don't know how I got there.
Well, he got there and lived in that sequence, and that is the type of fight that I feel like does turn momentum, because that's such a tilter for Sino. Like, not for him as a player necessarily, like that he's going to tilt because it's him, but just like you chase a 1 HP support underneath their tier 2, they live, you die. That sucked. I'm thinking about it for the next 10 minutes and not playing as well. So I was a little surprised that you guys stabilized from there, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the games were, I think they got an early lead on us almost every game, if I remember correctly. But we never really got like decided or anything, or never took any like huge losses until like we would just wait until like 25 minutes and then fight them. And then I remember this game one, we had 4 fizz, right? Yeah. So we were just farming out our percent pen items. So we just tried to play as defensively as possible. So they couldn't really like get that big of a lead on us this game, just because we were playing so defensive.
Yeah, you guys had such a long fire dance, and then you finally got the Sino blink taunt on Sot, and then you just one-shot him.
Oh, right.
The fire call after was really good, where all of you guys literally just held W away from Pantom and just chased down the Afro. I thought that was like really clean top-down macro.
Yeah.
You guys were on at that one. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I don't remember it too well, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna agree.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna turn it down, right? All right, game 2, absolute banger, 51.5 minutes
Yucky.
of Smite action, baby. This time you take Robin again. This time it was top 3. Paul gets Hebo because they first banned Set after banning Hebo, and then game 1 they go, I'd rather lose to Hebo.
Paul conundrum.
Yeah, the Paul conundrum, exactly. He's got to be the player that influences picks and bans the most in the,
it's not even
in the
close.
entire league, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
In the history of the league, it's not even close.
It's not even close. It can't be. Hebo, Marty, and Robin top 3, and then Rat Atlas bottom 2. The rare assassin pick here for Sino.
Still builds tanky.
Yeah, he built tank though.
Yeah, well, he can't be bidding all damage items. That's just not fair.
Of course
not.
Yeah, what do you remember from the first 20 minutes and then the next 20 minutes and the next 20 minutes of this game? I'm just trolling. You don't have to bring it down like that.
I mean, I remember a little, like, I just remember it being super slow, like, the first game. And then, okay, I don't remember that well, but it was pretty, it was pretty back and forth for the majority of the game. And then it was like 45 minutes in maybe, and, like, my brain's just, like, starting to, like, go down, like, I'm just, like, getting dumber as the minutes are going on. And then I blink onto Jake, and I try to kill him, and he lives like pretty low, and then Sot TP's behind me and walls me off, and then I die, and then Aurora tries to help me, and he dies, and then I'm dead for like 80 seconds or something, and I'm watching from the death screen as they siege like our base, and they try to go on Paul like under right Phoenix or something like that, and they literally all 3 like suicide and try to kill him, and he lives, and I'm literally just watching that like like I'm literally just watching, like doing nothing as my team is just winning the game pretty much, like from my desk screen after it did. I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
That's
But yeah, we
that's
won
where
the game off
the
that pretty much.
playing on a team with Paul
Yep.
and like tournaments tweet was
Yeah.
crafted in that exact moment.
Yeah.
Are you saying you died intentionally to watch Paul?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sometimes the front row seat is the best seat to be in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
that play is just crazy by Paul, bro. Just
Yeah.
going back and watching it, like he literally just single-handedly just baited his little Hebo body, and they were like, "Oh," and then Sot. Okay, that is a Sot moment, right? Where
Yeah,
he, like
Yes.
sword dunks, and the like you know
Yes.
he has to go for that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of like the live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing, because
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff they were doing like the whole split, like pretty
Yeah.
much like they were just playing ranked in SPL and it was working really well, but sometimes that like backfires as well, and it just happened to be like that game that it backfired, because
Yeah.
Jake, Panatom, and Sot like 3-man dove and they like missed everything, and then yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it was definitely really troll.
Yeah, the Lancelot pick was not one that I was expecting.
Yeah.
Here from Panny, and it did not do super well. Is the way. I mean, 4-3-4, but in a 51.5 minute game, 14k player damage. Player damage was not super high in this game. Sino had 400 more. He had 14.9. Panny had 14.8 or 14.5. Excuse me. So. It's not like there was a ton of player damage happening, but for Panatom's role on this team, like if Sino is top player damage on your team, that is not typically plan A, right? That is not the way that your team is drafting and structured most of the time. Panny is the very worst plan 1B on the Warriors. I feel like that's the style that he's really had this year. Not to say he hasn't played his facilitator style, because he can do both, but I feel like the Warriors, similarly to how I think the Dragons should be giving last tools to set up every fight in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. In my opinion, the Warriors should be giving Panny the tools to hard carry every late game, and be that late game carry on the games where Pagon just gets huge mid and they get to stomp in their mid 3v3 and the game's over, and Panny doesn't have to do that, great. But I think Panny is the best late game assassin player in the world right now. I would give him those tools. Lancelot might not be the pick that I'd be going for him. And in general, I thought that he definitely didn't have the tournament that I was expecting, just based on how well he's played this year. Which is, not, he doesn't deserve to get a bunch of heat for it. But that was definitely one of the main differences I saw on the way the Warriors were playing before this tournament and the way they played in this set in particular. Yeah, Bear, any thoughts on this game too?
Sorry, I swapped to game 3. I mean, basically, I don't think anything really happened until the end.
Yep.
Just skipping through this game on my stream, and there was like less than 10 kills for the first 30 minutes, and everyone's just trading everything. I mean, I do think the Rat pick is really good against Warriors with how they play. I think globals in general, just anything that can make their laners not want to hold W the entire time is probably pretty good.
Yep.
And then also, with Rat and Nirvana, I feel like the dive on the Merlin's pretty easy if both of them just go full tank. I mean, Pagon's not really going to put himself out of position, but I mean, a Rat Ravana dive into a Merlin Izanami has got to be a pretty easy task to do, with an Atlas as well, with Sunder. And you're just waiting for opportunities, and I feel like the meta right now is just kind of like, as long as you're not getting blown out early, you can still kind of dance around Fire Giant for a while, and I think Ferrymen are the best Fire Giant dancers right now.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that. All right, game 3 was a spicy one. I really liked watching this game because, like you said, Baskin, a lot of the times Warriors were getting ahead early. They got ahead early. They looked like they were setting up to basically end the game pretty early if they could keep that snowball rolling. And then Cyclone, I tuned into your stream right before I told you to raid berry, and you were watching the exact same play that I had to rewatch like 3 times. Where the Warriors were, sieging tier 2.
Yep.
They had all this momentum. Everything was looking really good for them. They were up big, and then somehow Cyclone gets a 2-man whoop as Panny hammers on Thor, catches his hammer, and I was like, how in the world does that happen? How do 2 people? It was Panny and who was the other?
Pagon, I think.
Pagon, yeah. How did those 2 group up to get hit by 1 whoop on a siege? Like, that is criminal. How does this happen? And I had to rewatch it a couple times, and then I realized that Cyclone was in a Marty bush whenever he did it. So they didn't see where he was.
Oh, was he actually?
Yeah, so that's why they grouped up, because there's no world in which they ever get 2-man whooped if they're staring in front of a Freya. I don't think that they knew that he was there, and he double whoops Panny Pagon, and you guys absolutely stomped the fight. You had a massive tier fearless at the end of it, and the game just felt like it. I feel like when you're up 2-0 and you have that play, I feel like you have to feel like the game is just over at that point. That's just like such a momentum turner that if I were on your team, I'd be like, oh, this set is over. Like we just can't lose from here. But yeah, go ahead, Wooney, with your thoughts on this game 3.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what happened. We were getting snowballed on in the early game. I had 2 really bad deaths. They were like maybe 5 or 6k up, and then Cyclone gets that whoop, and then team fight happens. It's funny though, because I think we were actually behind in gold after we got all those kills, and then we got Pyro plus T2. Maybe we got gold or something. I think we were either completely even or behind in gold, but like you said, the momentum was like so in our favor that it like felt like we were like 5k up, you know. And then I forget what happened after that. I think we just ended up grouping at Fire Giant, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Pantom got picked in solo lane just randomly. You got a good fearless, and then he just died at the 20.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember thinking in game that they were a little like tilted, or maybe like the morale was a little broken, because like we were like grouped in the jungle, and Panny was backing around CDR buff, and I was like walking up to him to fearless him, and I stand switched in the jungle, and Sino also Erlang manked like right as I stand switched. So Penny should have heard both those abilities. Like he was well within range, but he just he kept on backing, and I was able to get a fearless on him and saw it. And I remember thinking that was like a really like weird play, because like it was almost like a ranked like lazy back type of thing.
Weird.
Yeah, because like he should have heard both my stand switch and Sino's mank like easily. But yeah, and then we got fire after that, and then I think we pretty much just like snowballed it after that, like, or ended the game like pretty quick after that. I think I forget.
Yeah, you guys picked 2 after fire, and then just kind of walked in and ended 5v3. Speaking on Paul's warping of picks and bans, here is how the opening went here for the Oni Warriors and picks and bans. They ban Hell, they ban Set, they ban Hebo. You guys first pick Marty mid for Paul. He does top player damage in the game by a solid like 5k and goes 4-0-5.
Yep.
Just ban him out.
Paul experience, dude.
Paul moment.
Yep.
Just ban him out.
What do you even do against that guy? I actually don't know. I really don't.
His comms, like Paul's like not the most like talkative guy in comms, but like it's funny because when he thinks a fight's good, he'll just be like, kill them all. And it's like he'll keep on saying it like faster and faster. He'd be like, yeah, kill them all. It's in any other context, it would literally be like psychopathic, but in a fight, like you hear that and you know like we're about to own because he's gonna kill everyone.
You know that's your time. I told you this story a couple weeks ago, but one of my favorite listen-in moments ever features Paul, and it was when he was playing on Xbox, and his team got a Gold Fury or a Fire Giant or something like that, and they're getting chased out, and in the listen-in, you hear Paul go, "Run! Every man for himself! Don't help! Run! Every man for himself!" And it's just like that thought of like every man for himself is such a troll phrase that like I hadn't heard in so long, and it's one of my favorite listen-ins. I really wish that we had like an easy to parse like what's the word I'm looking, like, database of like the listen-ins, because there were some super good ones and some super bad ones that made us not do listen-ins anymore. But shout out to Eager Jelly also from the Xbox. That's one of the best ones that made us not want to do listen-ins anymore. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Okay, so overall, Ferryman win Masters. Wooney, I gotta say that I've been kind of picking the Ferryman in basically every tournament that I get a chance to, and up until now, I have looked kind of silly for those picks, so I appreciate some validation.
Yeah, no problem.
Here with this one, but isn't it crazy that like a couple weeks ago, everyone like on Reddit and on Twitter and in Twitch chat was like saying that this team, that you guys needed to kick Sino, that it was never going to work, all that kind of stuff, because Sino was having a little bit of a tough stretch and you guys weren't playing your best Smite. And then a few weeks later, you guys 3-0 the undefeated Warriors. Like that quick turnaround. Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about it in that way.
I mean, Reddit and all that stuff is just going to be the most like in the moment, like reactionary. Like that's not even like people were saying that the Oni Warriors should like all split up, like all of them should split up after like they literally lost one set in the last half a year. Yeah, like people in like Twitch chat and stuff, like they're saying like the Oni Warriors were done and stuff. Like I don't know. It's just cooked. People are just I don't know.
They should break it up for sure. That's a good idea actually.
Yeah. They only won what 15 sets in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Bro, come on.
Yeah. Well, guys, they lost
Not
individual
16.
games, like, come on. It's not like they were totally undefeated. They lost a game of the Jade Dragons, who we were all making fun of. So, like...
I'm still making fun of.
Who we're still making fun of. So, yeah, they should totally blow it up. I think that's a good idea for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously heading into the next phase, which is a little bit of a ways away, I think it's pretty clear that the Warriors and the Ferrymen are going to be the top two teams to watch. But Ravens, just one best of three will make you forget how well you guys played during the regular season. Hounds, Dragons looking like they at least found some amount of momentum. Exciting phase whenever it starts, which is in like a few weeks. I don't know how long.
It's crazy Hounds had literally the perfect bans against us. That's crazy.
Barry, come on, man.
Crazy.
Come on, Barry.
Who else is playing Oleron, man? Come on.
Okay. I did go back and look after we talked about it on the podcast last week, and I feel like I didn't write it down, but there were definitely Oleron bans here in the King's Dragon set.
There were. I'm just being.
I think we banned it versus Levi's maybe.
There you go. There are a couple teams banning Oleron there. Unlucky. That's all there is to it. No, I know you're just trolling. Okay, I had one more question before we go to the random question of the week. What was it? I saw someone, I think it was in your chat, Bera, saying, do you think that the Warriors win this event if it's on the Season of Hope patch and not the Season of Souls? How big of a deal was this new season? And it's obviously impossible to say if they would have won if it was just the previous season, but I do think that is a big factor in the results of this tournament. It's impossible. It has to be.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because also Ferryman played like two completely different teams between regular season and tournament time. So calling a winner off of a patch when teams could play completely differently in regular split and normal split, like I don't think we had a great tournament at all. I mean, obviously 0-2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like the patch changed a lot. I feel like the practice changed a lot. Like the amount of things that teams are trying in scrims changed a lot, obviously. But I'm not confident enough to say that Warriors would have beat Ferry with how good Ferry was playing. I think that's the cleanest Smite they played in a very long time. And then Hounds as well. Like Hounds, with the way they were playing, could have won the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, they went to 5 against the Ferrymen, who ended up winning 3-0. So definitely think it's fair. Woody, what do you think? How big of a difference do you think this patch was? And do you feel like you guys had a significantly better hold on this meta than the previous meta, or over other teams on this particular patch?
Yeah, I think this the new patch definitely benefited us. There's a lot more like it was like a tank meta. Sino's Erlang got buffed. I think Rat got buffed as well. Like a lot of the characters he played got buffed, and like he likes to build tankier as well, and the tank items were better. And for Oni Warriors as well, I do think it hurt them a lot because like they're obviously like they're the fastest team in the league, and before like the time to kill and stuff, it was like so short. So they could sort of like run it down harder, if that makes sense. Like when I think of Oni Warriors, I think of like Solar Troll playing like full damage Hebo and like two-shotting people and like 1v3ing and stuff like that. But with like the slower pace of the game in Season of Souls, I feel like it hurt them. Like I remember because they didn't play or we didn't see them play on the new patch until Hex Mamba, right? That was their first game. And like there was like their first SPL game in like a month. And game 1 they almost lost, and then game 2, both the games were actually super slow. Like, I mean, if I were to guess, the average game time was maybe like 35 minutes, which is pretty fast for most teams. But for the Warriors, like in the regular split, they're ending games in like 25 minutes, right? Like sub 30 minutes, probably average for their game time. So I do think it sort of hurt their playstyle. Like I think those players are all like fast, like one-shot players, and it sort of hurt them being like a tankier meta, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that we also did a lot of rollbacks on anti-snowball mechanics and added more snowball back into the game. Game still went pretty long overall, as we talked about. But theoretically, and I feel like teams did successfully generate better leads early. They just always didn't get converted at a rate that we would have seen, in previous years. But the Warriors were like the one team who was able to continually snowball games. Like no one else was snowballing games all year except for them. And on the patch where I really thought that they would not be hurt by this patch a ton, because it theoretically gives Jake a longer leash to be a little bit more disrespectful with his positioning and his plays, which is when he's at his best in my opinion. And snowballing was easier. So I was like, oh, this should be good for the Warriors theoretically, but I agree with what you said. It was really the exact opposite, that they kind of had trouble snowballing those games, which is interesting. Yeah, overall, very fun tournament to watch. I think, especially, we always feel confident in the changes that we're making. Otherwise, we wouldn't make them. But there's only so much confidence you can feel, especially like right before a big tournament. And there's only so much confidence you can feel with a giant game-wide change like we made. And certainly not perfect yet, like some adjustments needed. And hopefully we'll get those right. But I think for how drastic the change was, overall, personally, I was really happy with how the games looked. A lot less Thorns Kuzenbo than I expected. But
we were gonna play that like every game, so
yeah,
it's a good thing we got kicked out.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys falling on that grenade in that way, for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, fun tournament.
Fighting against Robin that game. That was fun.
I'm sure you did, Barry. Who doesn't love fighting Robin? Me, by the way. I don't love fighting Robin.
Any backliner.
Dude, when that god came out, I was like, what is the point of me loading in, man? Like, there is just... Well, no, not when he came out, because he was bad when he came out. When he got... When he became a really good jungler, I was like, what is the point of me being here? And,
I learned
yeah,
after our set that I have to Aegis every tank Ravana ult, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that ult is good.
Yeah.
Plus the glorious Pridwin.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I was getting cooked.
Yes.
Wait, you should just not level an ability because he immunes one anyways. So just put all your points into one.
Oh, that's
What
actually
do I do with the
smart.
other 5 points? Do I just invest those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep them in the bank.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Yeah, Percy saying season 3 start was the Blink Sunder Robin meta. Yeah, that was it. Because I remember now because we were scrimming a lot against Mifflin's team at the beginning of that year, and he would play nothing but Robin, Rat, and Susano. And none of those characters are fun to play against as a mid laner. And I hated Mifflin, and I still do to this very day for that exact reason. Remember when Ravenalt auto-locked? Anyways, I can't. We're way over time. I shouldn't be going on that angle. Why are you saying sorry?
I don't know. I don't know. Continue.
Why did you say sorry? That made no sense.
It felt like the right thing to do. I don't know why.
Me bringing up a whole talking point on my own. You didn't get me there at all. I go down off this tangent.
Sorry for the guy driving.
Yeah, seriously. What is that? That was hilarious. Okay, before we get to the random question of the week, one more sponsor to tell you guys about. It's Bird Dogs. And here's why. Because they make you look good. Bird Dogs stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. And they fit way better than regular shorts that are made of a stiff, restricting cotton, which, as we've covered, is not what you want in your shorts. Actually, very few things, stiff and restricting is what you're looking for. Here's how they fix this issue. These geniuses over at Bird Dogs. They invented cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches. So you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement, which is what we love. Plus, they use anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all night long. All day long. I mean, it would work at night too, I suppose. I don't see why not. It's really up to you whether you want to wear them during the day or during the night. What is happening with this podcast and with this ad read? What is happening? Go to birddogs.com/pool and enter promo code POOL. That's POOL. And you get a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. I was about to go on a bit of like what you could fill your Yeti-style tumbler with, and I'm just not going to. That's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off, we promise you. And that's why you end up wearing them all through the night, because you don't want to take them off and you sleep in them. And then you wake up and then you wear them. And even though that is something that is not advised, they have anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. So it should be fine. Never mind. What is going on with me?
Yeah, I will say,
apologize, everyone.
To help you out, I did get my Bird Dogs in the mail, and they are very
Bro!
comfy and make my butt look very good.
My mailman is living large out there, bro. I'm about to watch our mailman pull up in Oakley's and Bird Dogs, and I'll be like, yo, can I get that? And they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. You got your Bird Dog? Okay. All right. I've got to have a discussion with my local mail carrier. I'm sure it's not their fault and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to scream at them with no warning tomorrow. All right. Time for the random question of the week, which is, of course, in our Patreon Discord, patreon.com/backliners, if you want to join there. We have had a few new Patreon subscribers join in, and we're happy to have them along, including, got to give a special shout out to Yoma, who just joined the Patreon Discord, a runner of one of my favorite Twitter accounts out there. So big shout out to Yoma. All right, Neon Kerm asked, if you could change your name, real or online name, what would you change it to?
I would definitely change my online name, I think. I don't know what I would change it to, but I'm pretty sure my name is just terrible. Like my gamer tag, and I would change it to probably literally anything else. Because it just looks like a bad Xbox name, but I'm just stuck with it.
Would you change it to Cloud Knit Fabric? Would that be your new gamer
That'd
name?
be better than my name.
Than Barracuda? Barracuda's not that bad. Come on. There are way worse ones out there.
Like what?
Sam for Soccer 2.
That one is worse. That's a lot worse. Yeah.
That's kind of iconic at this point.
I mean, it is, but it's iconic because it's bad, right? It's a bad, it's nearly objectively a bad name, but it's Sam, and he's just so lovable that, like, I love it anyways.
I mean, same with Jake, right? Like, Awesome Jake 408.
Terrible.
Not a good name.
Just awful. Yeah, it can't be good.
Think about how many Smurfs those two names have spawned.
That's a good point.
True.
But think about how many Smurfs Zapman's name was spawned too. I feel like Zapman, like there have been so many like bits on Zap's name.
Yeah, when it was like, oh, I can't remember the names. It was like Billy for baseball. Like when
Yeah.
all those names took over
Yeah.
ranked, that was prime time ranked.
Yeah, those were good times. Yeah, Woody, how about for you?
I'd definitely change my gamer tag.
Really?
'cause
No
everyone-
Baskin Robbins?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's asks me about like the Baskin Robbins like ice cream shop or whatever, which I'm pretty sure I've either never been to or been to once maybe. But I actually have no idea why. Like, I don't even remember like why I named myself this, but I always get asked it, and then yeah, I think I would just change my gamer tag to Woonie or something, because that's like I think it's cool to have gamer tag as like your name, you know?
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
yeah.
John.
Do you think that's taken?
I've never
might be
tried,
taken.
but
John? No, I was talking about John. Yeah, Woony much more likely to be open than John.
John S.
John S. Johns. Yeah, there you
Johns.
go. That should be open. That's
Classic. John Smith.
that's fair. Would I change my name? I don't know. I definitely like. I think aggro is a clean gamer tag. I'm definitely happy with that. I'm not like as aggressive a person as you would expect to have that gamer tag, but I think that's fine. That's where aggression comes in anyways. And so that's good. When I was younger, I didn't want to be named Ryan. I really liked the name Evan, and I wished that my name was Evan for a while.
You want to be
Ryan's
Snoopy so
better.
bad.
I know Snoopy's just like so cool, but there's nothing I can do about it now. There is something I can do about it now, but I've also I was like 6 at the time, and there was a cool kid named Evan in my school, so I wanted to be like him, and it was Evan Snoopy Man Jones. Okay, our good friend B Dubs asked, "What was one of the coolest, most impressive plays you've ever seen in a professional Smite game? What's a play you would like to see in an ideal world?" Play I would like to see in an ideal
An
world.
ideal world.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I mean,
in real life.
Like
no, I
the
think
world
like
hunger and stuff.
you just get to what's
Say
like a
World Hunger?
I
yeah,
don't
that's a
know, what's-
play. I'd like
I'm
to.
just confused what he's talking about.
I would like. Okay, I can't get started on that. Me creating world peace. Now that's a play right there. That's really really
play
fun.
the game right there.
Yeah, no, I think I would like to see some cool. There's some Maui tech that hasn't been utilized because it's impossible to do, but we accidentally did some really fun stuff in playtesting, like shifting raw alts like during the channel to like change the angle a little bit. That would
Oh
be
no.
absolutely crazy if that ever happened. It is the worst idea and should never actually happen in SPL, but
Yeah.
if it did,
Please don't.
it would be really cool. Also, for the most impressive play that I can think of, I've got 3 that immediately come to mind. Deathwalker's tier play, I think, is the best individual play in a competitive Smite game I've ever seen. Was that against you, Barra?
Nope.
Nice. Who was that against? I was thinking about that the other day.
I'm surprised it wasn't, because I feel like every cool play or moment has been against me.
Yeah, that's basically
That is
true. That's more or less true. The other two did not involve you. The Kalas Ares ulting and then pulling people through a Giannis portal
Oh yeah.
was really cool. And then Wilfie stuffing the Giannis dropship from Dignitas in that was the Masters, that was best of 7 that we tried one year, where he was like set up perpendicular to where they were going to come through the wall through a Giannis ult, and he got like a 4-man Discordia strife and just like insta killed the entire team and stopped them from ending. That was I can only remember that because Dig had a 1 game advantage going into that best of 7, and then I forget if it went 7, but it was just like we were all like, please God, no best of 7s. And I remember the discussion well, and it was, the fans say they think best of 7 could be good. for double elim, and this is a good opportunity to try it at Not Worlds. And I was like, okay, but when we are on hour 6.5 of one set, I'm going to look you in the eye and you're going to know that I don't want to be here for hour 9. And if I remember correctly, something like that happened pretty closely to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are my answers. Barrett, I rambled forever. I'll read the question. Coolest or most impressive play you've ever seen in a pro Smite game, and what's a play you would like to see in an ideal world in Smite, not in real life?
I don't have specific plays. I will say I think Paul's season, I think it was 7 and 8.
Yeah.
His whole like finals and kind of every game led up to that. I think it was, I can't remember which year it was. I can't remember if it was 7 or 8 where he like literally just diffed. Maybe it was both years. Honestly.
It was 7.
It was 7.
Scylla-
Where
Scylla
yeah,
year?
the year that where Sam went under tier 2.
Yeah.
To try
he
and kill
just
him.
stole.
Yeah, that was that was crazy.
I think Paul literally stole every objective forever, and then just made crazy plays on top of that. Like, I'm pretty sure you can just make a whole montage solely out of just those tournaments for Paul.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I was gonna say like the Deathwalker play just for recency bias, but I think Paul's whole tournament run overtakes that for me. An ideal play I would like to see would probably just be like a hunter play. I think pillar stuns, if it's like a clean pillar stun, I think those look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Ishtar combos, I think those feel really good too. But I don't really think hunters have like the flashiest plays. I'm trying to think.
Such an
What
easy
hunters-
roll, you know.
Yeah,
You
what
just
hunters
hold
really
left
make
click.
like flashy plays besides like critting people or like Heim plays. I think Heim probably has the highest.
Honestly, I think the best hunter play that I like, hypest hunter play that I can think of off the top of my head was Zap season 6. Had a really sick on her play game 1, and then I think it was like game 4, I want to say, where there was like an early fight by gold and Zap was playing Hachi, and like he just went absolutely crazy. And I remember being like, wow, that was some of the best, that was some of the biggest moment like hunter play that I can think of. It was crazy.
Maybe Snoopy snipe on Dare to Care or Wowie's bounce on like Skeely. Wowie's Hui bounce.
Wowie's Hui bounce on Skilly was funny.
Yeah, for like throwback moments, those would be up there for me.
Yeah, those are both good ones. Percy did say in the chat that 2018 Masters, it did go to Game 7 with Rival winning. That's what I thought. That was never say best of 7 with a 1-game advantage is the right way ever again, please. Twitch chat, please. Baskin?
Yeah, you guys have said a lot of the ones that I like. Hurry's Janus portal on Final K when he was tier and he like faked the portal.
Yeah, that was a
a good
sick
one.
play. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was a sick play.
I forgot about that.
And then outside of that, well, it was for me when I was like coming up or whatever, but watching Andy stream, he would make some like insane plays, like insane for the time. Like, I mean, they're still good, but like at the time, like when Andy streamed, like he would just like go off like mechanically. Like
no, there is the one Thor clip.
or yep.
Dude, that play is
Yeah.
still like I still can't
holds
keep
up.
up. Like
Mhm.
it is literally season 1 and I'm like I can't comprehend doing this. Like it is so crazy. That is such a good clip. I want to watch that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's not like it wasn't the sickest play, but just like an impactful one that I can remember was Cyclone just absolutely bodying Omega. I think it was like the Herc Odin matchup or something like that where like Cyclone just like it was just like thought of that matchup was like 10-0 Odin or something like that, and Cyclone was literally just like solo killing him off cooldown and like was too. He might have two blinked him or something like that. That doesn't sound right because you would
No,
have had TP.
Omega jumped on the wave and then Cyclone 2-1'd him into tower. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. It was just like
Yeah.
by today's standards, it's nothing. But like at
Yeah,
the
but
time,
back
it was
then-
like, holy crap, this guy is so nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Timmy wants to know who is the best player in your role in history. Mine is the easiest. It's Paul. Baskin, we
Mine's
can...
also Paul.
He plays a lot of hunters, you know. I think Bear, you have the hardest probably.
I would say based off of rings, it would be Zap. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I feel like I just have to go with Zap because I mean, I feel like, and after that's like Emilito for rings, but yeah, I would say
No,
probably
it's
just Zap.
the best. Timmy doesn't ask who won the most. He said the best player in your role.
Yeah, but I feel like winning the most worlds is kind of the biggest thing.
It's definitely a factor.
I mean, even if you didn't like hyper carry the worlds, I think you still had like a decent impact in every time. So, yeah, I would just go with Zap. I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad answer. Baskin, how about for you in solo?
Benji.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty clear cut in my opinion. Yoma asks, if you had to build your perfect 4th of July barbecue, what is your main meat or food item, side, and drink? This is a great question, Yoma, and the type of question I want to be answering all the time.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Me too. Perfect 4th of July barbecue, main meat or food item, side, and drink. It's got to be hot dogs for me. Just a good old grilled hot dog, so good. Grilled burger, also solid. But I'm going grilled hot dog with some really buttery corn on the cob as my side. And here's the thing. You need to have the little sticker, like the sticky pointers that you like put in each end of the corn on the cob to hold it. That makes it so much better because your fingers don't have to get disgusting. Just your face has to get disgusting. Yeah, some really good grilled corn on the cob with some butter. And then drink. As a 31-year-old adult man, I mean this sincerely, a nice cold can of Dr. Pepper. Or maybe a cold can of Mountain Dew. I could also be talked into.
Does it have to be a can?
Yes, cans are the best form of soda drinking. Yeah, it actually isn't close. Don't say glass bottles of Coke. It's not fair.
Bottle?
That's not a tradition. That's not like an easy access thing. It's not the same. That's like saying that that Gordon Ramsay's restaurant has a better burger than McDonald's. It's like, yeah, of course. You're not going there all the time. You know what I mean?
Isn't it like the norm in some places, or is it not anymore?
I feel like it isn't. No, they say like everyone calls bottled like glass bottle Coke like Mexican Coke.
Yeah, the Mexican Coke.
I don't think if you go to Mexico that there's glass bottles everywhere. Like I think it's probably 20 ounces in cans. Like they're probably like I could be wrong. I've never been to Mexico, but that's my assumption. Yeah, canned soda, the best by far. But yeah, that's mine. Basket, we'll make you go next. Barra's had to go next each time.
Well, hot dogs is definitely a good one.
Yeah.
And then, so like when you say 4th of July barbecue, like you have to make it and stuff, right? Like.
No, you could just be at like a
Could it be
party or
any
something
barbecue?
like that. Yeah, no, just like at a party, like a family gathering or something like that, or friends like cooking out in the backyard.
Oh.
Like it's not like a professional chef. Is like
Okay.
kind of the thing.
So like a 16-hour like smoked brisket, that's not like reasonable.
I mean, 16-hour
reasonable.
probably not, but some brisket I think is safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I like brisket.
Yeah.
And then for drink, I feel like if you're barbecuing outdoors, you gotta get some iced tea, you know, and lemonade.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good, dude. I'm gonna get a bunch of cans of Arnold Palmer for this weekend when it's gonna be really hot. That is a great hot outside drink. I love Arnold Palmer. It's so good. All right, Barry, you're up.
I made some seitan barbecue ribs that were really good, so I'll probably, if I want those, I'll probably make them, or like a fully loaded burger.
Yeah.
'Cause I made some bacon recently too, and that was pretty banging. So probably just like a barbecue burger with barbecue sauce and like pickles and maybe some mustard. I'm kind of leaning towards that train now.
Wait, no way you're just going from mustard sucks to putting it on your ideal entree.
I tried it. I was at my parents' house like 2 weeks ago, and I made like the tempeh bacon I was talking about, and we made like a fully stacked like burger with it, and I put the mustard on it, and it actually made it a lot better. And I was a little disappointed in my taste buds, but it's just good, and I don't know why my taste buds changed. Like, I literally used to hate mustard. It was one of the worst condiments, probably the worst condiment, and I would
It is.
do my
It's
best
terrible.
to avoid it. But
Yes.
it's actually not that bad for some reason. I don't know why.
Wait, so did you just put mustard on a burger, like, straight up? You were just like, yep, mustard me up.
Just a little bit with like a pickle and like the acidity, and I don't know how to describe a mustard flavor. But like the pickle with the mustard flavor with like the barbecuiness of the burger and everything just came together really good.
You've changed, man.
I'm sorry.
You've changed.
Side would have to be. This one's hard for me. My top two would be like sweet potato fries or mac and cheese.
Mhm.
But like the home style mac and cheese with like breadcrumbs on top.
Yeah, great call.
Drink. Okay, I was gonna say water, but Baskin kind of convinced
Bro!
me that lemonade.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say sweet tea. I was gonna be like, if you would have
no.
told this exact meal to Barra a month ago, he would have been like, I'm not having any of it. I only
you're
want the
lost,
mac
yeah.
and cheese.
Yeah, lemonade sounds really good. Or like it was like Sprite. Oh, I can't remember. Hold on. It was strawberry Sprite from Del Taco. That's one of the best drinks I've had in a very long time. Del
Dude.
Taco's a restaurant, very bad, but their strawberry Sprite, pretty good.
I had never seen a Del Taco before, and then one of our apartments down here, there was a Del Taco 5 minutes away. The first time I had Del Taco, I was like, this is unbelievably good. I can't believe no one told me about this Del Taco thing. This is awesome. I was loving it. It was delicious. It was so good. I think I went back like 4 times, and I would say that I only got edible food like twice out of those 4 times. And it was
Yeah.
barely above that line. Like, it was crazy.
There's one right next to my old college campus that I went to while I was in college, and I was like, this is some of the best food I've ever had. Like, for a fast food place.
Dude, it was so good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I took Lynn and Destiny there, and it was the worst food.
Like, I took like 3 bites and threw it away.
Yeah.
And as someone who like hates wasting money, I was like, this is good to throw it away. Like,
No,
I
it's not a
do
waste.
not want to eat this.
Yeah, I've been there for sure. Dude, I wish that reminds me of Joe, my wife, is nearly a perfect human being, as we know. Her one flaw is that she doesn't like Zaxby's, which is
What?
basically criminal, right? Zaxby's is undeniably top tier, okay? I've been going to this one Zaxby's by our house recently, and it's been slapping. It's been so good every time. I've been like craving it because it's been so good. She sees an ad online because Zaxby's has funnel cake, and Joe's a funnel cake lover, as is anyone who has a soul, because funnel cake's delicious. She's like, okay, I will actually go to Zaxby's to get this funnel cake. We go in, we order it. Dude, it all sucked. And I was like, guys, don't you know that this was a big moment for you, Zaxby's? Like, you needed to deliver in this moment, because otherwise, if you mess this up, I'm never going to be able to get Zaxby's unless I'm getting food for just me ever again. And Joe is never going to give Zaxby's another shot if this sucks. And it was the worst Zaxby's I've had in like maybe ever. Like, I feel like you should be able to tell someone like, yo, you've got to clutch up for this one. Like, this is big. Like, your potential future viability as a dinner location is riding on this one meal. So don't screw this one up. But of course you can't do that. And now she'll never eat Zaxby's again. I will. And now I want Zaxby's right now.
Yeah, is that funnel cake vegan?
I don't know. It wasn't good, to be honest with you.
What?
But well, because they messed everything up. Like, it was just all bad, you know? Like, I'm sure, like, normal performance, I would trust it. If they're on their game, I would get 5. But they were not on their game. I was really disappointed. It was really depressing. Okay.
Well, that's just fast food, sorry.
I know. Dude.
Why do I keep apologizing?
I don't know what. Well, it's because now you know that you kept me going, and I will keep going for a second longer. It is crazy, and this is true for every job, but particularly for food service jobs. Think about, like, Chipotle is a good example. Everyone talks about how some Chipotle bowls are unreal, and some Chipotle bowls are terrible. And it all comes down to employee diff. That's it, right? Like, if the employees working that day are tryharding and doing a whole bunch, probably like more, those jobs are very hard. I'm not trying to, I worked in food service for years. I put out a bunch of bad meals, I'm sure. I know for a fact. But like when they are like hitting, when everything's fresh and you get like the full bowl, you know, they're not skimping on anything, they're hooking it up. That is so good. And sometimes you just get employee diffed, and that's all there is to it. Do you think that people are going to comment employee diff when my next god sucks and they don't like it? They're going to be like,
Probably.
yeah, it's just aggro, not doing it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out this funnel cake's vegan. I feel like it might be vegan because it's a caramel sauce and
That comes on the
powdered
side.
sugar.
That comes on the side, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, wait.
exactly.
Surely they fry it in the same oil as like the chicken and stuff.
I think their frying oil is vegan. I think I saw somewhere that it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those guys where it's like, oh, it's frying the same thing. I can't eat that now.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't sure the extent of that. Okay, let's wrap this before I go on for 10 more minutes about funnel cake, shall we?
Sure.
Wooney, thanks for coming on. Shout out to factormeals.com/backliners50, and then oakley.com and birddogs.com for our 3 sponsors of the week. We'll be back next week, I believe, is the plan. We're coming up on my paternity leave here, Barra, pretty soon though. We're gonna find you a new. We gotta find you a co-host for when I'm going on my paternity leave, because it's not that far away. Can you believe that? I can't. Anyways, we gotta go before I start talking about that too. All right.
I didn't know if you wanted me to respond or if you were.
No,
just
who knows? I don't know either. Let's go. Booney actually fell asleep 10 minutes ago, and we just don't know because we've been rambling.
I'm eating wings.
Well, what kind? You just started
I think
eating
buffalo.
wings.
They're good though.
That's so
I know.
true.
I've been listening the whole time though.
No, I
I've
know
got
you
a
have.
whole pizza.
Oh my god, look at that pizza. Okay, we gotta get you for that pizza.
Oh,
Okay.
Wait, piece on pizza?
Is that
No, mod
Oh.
pizza.
Oh, mod
dang.
pizza. Okay. Dude, I'm so hungry and I don't have wings or pizza. This is garbage. All right, we're getting out of here.
Nom,
Barry,
nom,
you know
nom.
what's That's so good. I love that.
I get to eat.
No, say the words you're supposed to say to close it.
I said bye.
Oh, all I heard was Baskin going nom nom nom.
No, 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 no.
Good enough.